Welcome back. In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to fold the Origami Jabba the Hutt from the book Star Wars Origami, designed by Chris Alexander. And the diagrams for the model, as well as the cool paper that goes along with it, can be found in the book. To get started, you can use some origami paper, or I'm going to just start with A4 paper and turn it into a square. So here I'm going to just take the top edge and fold it down to meet up with the left-hand edge so that I can create an origami square. This diagonal line will be a valley fold, and then you're going to just remove the bottom flap of this paper. Once you've got that done, you're starting with an origami square. If you're starting with the paper from the book, you have to make sure you have the Jabba pattern facing down so that you can keep that pattern on the correct side. Now you're going to take this corner here, the bottom right-hand corner, fold it up to the top left-hand corner, and get yourself what I like to refer to as the origami X. This will be a valley fold again from corner to corner, creating this X shape in the middle. Now you're going to flip your paper over, take the bottom edge, fold it up to the top to get a horizontal valley fold that goes right through the center of your paper. At this point, the diagonal lines will be mountain folds, not valley folds. Then you're going to take the right hand side, fold it over to the left hand side, and create a vertical valley fold right through the center of your paper. And now you'll see you have the origami X here, the origami T there. Now if you flip your paper over and you press what I've referred to before as the magic button right here, it will reverse all those creases, take these two edges, fold them down towards the center, squash fold the top, and you have yourself a water bomb base. Now, this model starts at the water bomb base, and you need to do some more squash folding. So there's 4 flaps, 2 on this side, 1 and 2, and 2 on this side, 1 and 2. We're going to do the same procedure to all 4 flaps. So I'll start with the first one slow. You take this outside edge and fold it into the center, valley folding it. Try to make it accurate and line up as nicely as you can with the center. Crease that really well. And then you're going to take this flap, open it back up, lift it straight up, separate the pocket, and then squash fold it so the spine here lays down flat, and you end up having this kite shape like that. Then take this flap and fold it back over to the right. Now you're going to do that same procedure with the remaining 3 flaps, 1, 2, and 3. So here we go, take this outside edge, folding it into the center, opening up that flap, separating it, and squash folding it, folding it back over to the left, since that's the way you started. You've got the top of the model done, flip the whole thing over, repeat those same steps, folding the outside edge into the center, opening up that flap, separating the pocket, laying it down flat, and folding it back to the right. Take this outside edge, fold it into the center, crease it, lift that flap back out and up, separate the pocket, squash fold it down, and fold this part back over to the left. Now you should have a model that looks something like this, and it should have 4 little points down here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now we're going to have to sync fold this top part here. On the paper, if you're using the paper from the book, you'll see the kind of line where it should end up. But if you're just using regular paper, you're going to take this top edge, fold it down so it meets this horizontal line here, and just gently mark that fold. I'm going to mark it here with my pen so you can see it in the video. Then you're going to take this top piece and fold it back down to that mark and crease it really well, because this is going to be our sink fold line. Okay, I'm actually going to fold it this way, which is a valley fold. I'm actually going to flip my paper over and fold it back just to kind of get all those lines creased really well, because the sink fold can be a little bit difficult. Okay, so make sure you've got a nice crease right there. Then you're going to open up your model, and we're going to crease that stuff inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently push the center down like so, and then I'm going to go back and just pinch around this creased line to change them into mountain folds, and this is going to help the whole sink fold in better once you start gently pressing it towards the center. Okay, so there's my kind of pressed in shape, and now you see all the mountain folds around the edges. You're just going to take these, and what I find is if you gently push down and you kind of crease the mountain folds, you want the mountain folds to be sticking out, and then the other piece in between is going to be pressed inward. Okay, now one thing that I find often with these is that my fingers get a little too big to get into the hole, and you're going to fight with some of the lines that are wanting to be mountain folds instead of valleys. So I kind of like to gently crease these in, and as I get closer to finishing the fold in, I actually find that creasing, like pulling the model apart at the top and kind of creasing the bottom of the sink fold, helps the sink fold go down more and flatten better, and that sometimes you just have to kind of fight with some of those creases. So there's your kind of final sink fold looking something like that. Now once you're done with your sink fold, go back down to this side, and you want to make sure that you have the 2 points on, sorry, here we go, 2 points, 1 and 2 on one side and 2 points on the other side. Okay, so your final version should look something like that. Now that you've got the sink fold done, we're going to do some more petal folding. So you're going to take this top right hand edge and fold it over once so that your model looks something like this. Now on the back, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take the first flap of paper here and fold it over towards the right, which will give you the same look on the back as well. Now we're going to take this bottom edge of the top flap, fold it in towards the center, create a valley fold, and then do the same thing here. Fold this outside edge in towards the center, valley folding it, try to make it right along the center as nicely as you can, and it will look something like this when you're finished. And now we're going to unfold these and petal fold it right along that line right there. So I'm going to open these up. I'm going to lift this flap up to here and valley fold that a little bit in, and then I'm going to recrease it, taking this edge in and recrease that edge in like that. And then this is kind of tricky. You're just going to have to make sure that this part lines up with the center. Okay, it's similar to, you know, a bird base kind of petal fold, but it's just a little bit different because you're starting with the water bomb base rather than the bird base. Okay, and it should look like this when you're done. Then you're going to fold this down, and you'll have the model looking something like that. Now you're going to do this 3 more times. You're going to flip the model over and do the same thing on the back, and then you're going to do the same thing here and here once we flip the model over. So I'm going to speed up a little bit, flipping it over, take this edge, fold it in towards the center, this edge, fold it in towards the center, open them up, petal fold it upwards, and recreasing towards the center, recrease it towards the center, make sure these top pieces, the folds are reversed nicely, and it will look something like that when you're done, and then fold that flap back down. Now you've got 2 more. You're going to take this and you're going to fold 1 flap over, 2 flaps over, and it will look the same. And then on the back, you're going to take one flap over, two flaps over, and it again will look the same on the back. And you're going to repeat those previous steps to get the same petal fold situation. Opening the paper up, reversing creases, reversing the mountain fold creases. Okay, like so. Fold that flap down. Should match the other ones that you have. Flip your whole model over. Repeat that same step on the back. Folding in towards the center. Folding the bottom outside edge in towards the center. Open those two up. Petal fold. And open this part up. Make sure it's folded in along the edge. And there we've got the finished version all the way up to step 15. Alright, now if you flip this edge over one more time here, you'll see that you've got, this is my original side, and we've got this little flap here. We're going to take that and we're going to make the same thing on the back. So we're going to flip this edge here once over, and you'll see it there in the back. You're going to take this little flap, valley fold it up, and then we're going to take this little flap and sink fold it inside. So I'm going to sink fold it in underneath here. So I'm going to pull that up, reverse that valley fold around into a mountain fold, and tuck it up inside. So when you're done, you can see that paper tucked up inside there, and it's a nice valley fold here, but you still have these 2 points here. Now you're going to do that 3 more times. So I'm going to flip my model over, do it on the back, open this up, and reverse that valley fold up into a mountain fold and tuck it underneath. And of course, when you're not doing a video, it's much easier because you can manipulate the paper around. So feel free to do that at home here. Now, if you flip this one over 1, 2, you'll reveal again that little flap deal. And if you then do the same thing on the back, flip it over once, twice, you'll reveal the same little flap on the back. Alright, and then you're going to valley fold, and then you're going to sink fold, so you're going to open those flaps up, reverse that valley fold you just made inside, and fold it back down, flip your model over, valley fold that little flap, and then inside reverse it to sink it inside. Like so. Alright, and now we've got those 4 little points all sink folded inside. Alright, now it's time to create the arms and legs. So we've still got these 4 points down here. They look a little different than they used to, but we've got those 4 points. You're going to take the top 2, this one here, and you're going to inside reverse fold it right along this crease. So you're just going to basically fold this up and fold that flap back down. And you've got this little point sticking out. Do the same thing on the other side. Open it up, valley fold it up, and inside like that. Okay, now those 2 little bits there are going to be Jabba's arms. You're going to take this piece and you're going to inside reverse fold it so that it's about sticking out like this. Now, if you're using the paper from the book, you'll see the line where that is. If not, you can just kind of guess at it. It's about that far. You want to leave a little space here for his head. I just valley folded that over, if you see, but now I'm going to unfold it, and I'm going to inside reverse fold that. So when you're done, it should look something like this. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to open it up, inside reverse fold it so that it's coming down like that and it's matching the other side farther. Okay, and that's going to be his other arm. Now that we've got those two arms situated, you're going to valley fold right about here from the top of those arms. You're going to peel this first flap down, and you're going to reveal this huge sink fold here. So I'm going to fold this flap down, and what you want to do is there's these other two flaps here, which you're going to just like gently press down so that the crease folds right along the center, just like this. And you'll have a little bit of triangle left over here. Okay, so when you're done, it'll look something like this. It'll be like a square. I just ripped my paper on accident, but it'll be a square with kind of an X and a T in the middle of it. It'll look something like that. Okay, now you're going to take this bottom edge here and you're going to fold it up to this line, to that center line there, to make the bottom of Jabba's jaw. Alright, now this is where it gets a little tricky as well. You've got this next piece here, which you're going to fold this corner, and you're going to fold it downwards like this, and what's going to happen is you're going to create the eye piece like this. It's like a squash fold. Alright, and the squash fold is going to end up looking, sorry, the paper's kind of small, like this, so that the top edge here folds down to this center line, and then the squash fold makes a little triangle right in there. Okay, so I'm going to take this edge here and do it again. I'm going to fold this edge down to meet the bottom edge, and then this little triangle bit will fold down like that. So that's the squash fold for the two eye bits. And you'll see in this paper from the book, the eye will be sitting right there inside of that squash fold. Okay, now that you have the face done, it says to take the little arm here and valley fold it up this way, inside reverse fold that after you get done with the valley fold. So if I separate these two pieces of paper and inside reverse fold it like this, it'll look something like that. And then it says to open this flat like that to make the hand. So I'm going to skip the valley fold on this one, and I'm just going to inside reverse fold it. Okay, like that. And then I'm just going to flap this forward to create the hand like that. Alright, now we've got the two remaining points here. One of the points is going to be the tail. The one on the left is going to be the tail. We're going to take this and we're going to inside reverse fold it again, and we're going to fold it so that this crease here is horizontal to the whole body and kind of hiding right behind his arm like that, and it's going to come maybe a 20-degree angle up there. Okay, like that. Then we've got this last flap, which is going to be his back, and if I flip this over, we're gonna take this flap and open it so it looks like this from the front and it looks like that from the back. Now we're going to mount and fold it. I'm actually going to just flip my paper around here. You're going to mount and fold it in the directions it says mount and fold, but here we're going to valley fold it because I've got my paper flipped around. And it's going to make it so that he's got a little triangle sticking above his head. Now you're going to half this triangle by folding it down here. And then you're going to take this flattened piece and stick it inside of his head. So I'm actually going to mount and fold this back to make sure the crease is nice. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick it inside the pocket right behind his eyes. Like this. Okay. So there it is, kind of in the pocket, and that'll clean up the head and that sink fold and make it look a little nicer. Now once you've got that, there's just a few more steps. There's these little corners down here. You're just going to mount and fold these back in to kind of round out that body, and you've got 1, 2, 3 on this side. So I mount and fold the first one, and then I valley fold the next 2 inside. So you've got just those 3 flaps sitting like that, and you've got this angled now. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here. Mount and fold the first flap, valley fold the second flap. Okay, so you see those 2 in there, and then I mount and fold the back flap like that, but you're going to end up seeing this tail piece here. Then the last piece is, and that'll help it stand up. Then the last piece is to curve the tail around a little bit so that it curves out to the front, and then to valley fold here once for the hand, valley folding it in, and then if you do another valley fold like this, you can kind of curl the hand around. And this is kind of, in the book, he doesn't even really show this part. He puts one line on it, and this is kind of, I think, up to your artistic judgment of how you want his arms looking. Okay, so they might look something like that, kind of curved around. Alright, and so that is how to finish the Origami Jabba the Hutt, the designs for which can be found in the book Star Wars Origami by Chris Alexander.